Confession. Episode number 16. In 2013, I paid an escort with 3 bitcoins. I still have this obsessive habit of checking her wallet. It probably sounds strange, but I just needed to get it off my chest. In 2013, I sent an escort 3 bitcoins. Back then, they were worth maybe $300, so the deal seemed perfectly reasonable to me. The problem is, I've been regularly checking that Bitcoin address for 11 years. The BTC just sat there all this time without moving. Most likely, she didn't even know what it was or how to access it. Recently, I noticed activity on the address. She started transferring small amounts to Coinbase. Apparently, she finally figured out how to cash them out. Do you know how much 3 bitcoins are worth? Right now, about $350,000. Over all these years, I occasionally checked that address, wondering if she knew what kind of treasure she had. A part of me even hoped she had completely forgotten about them, so I wouldn't have to think about that money. But now she's withdrawing it, and I can't stop checking Blockchain Explorer. It's like watching someone win the lottery with money that used to be yours. The worst part is, I don't own any BTC now. I sold everything, treated it like in-game currency, and never even tracked it properly. Back then, I didn't care about taxes or records, but now, thinking about what I lost, I realize how irresponsible I was. She probably doesn't even remember me, but soon she'll be $350,000 richer because of a deal I made over 10 years ago. I know it's unhealthy, but I can't stop tracking that address. It's an obsession over what could have been. The thought that I could have had that much money if I hadn't wasted it. Though, I admit, I've changed a little. Now I track my finances much more carefully because I don't want to feel this regret again. I use proper tools like Awaken. It automatically pulls data from wallets and exchanges, and it removes the headache. It won't fix the past, but at least I won't obsessively check the old address just to remind myself what I lost. Is there anyone else here who can't let go of past financial decisions? This situation is eating at me, and I don't know how to stop thinking about it. You didn't give her $350,000, you gave her $300. For that same $300, you could have easily bought more Bitcoin back then. But even if you had, you still wouldn't have held on to it until today. Just tell everyone you once partied with a hooker for $350K. I snooped at some papers of the guy sitting next to me on a plane, and it was brutal. Yeah, maybe I'm overly nosy. I noticed the guy next to me reading some documents, and while pretending to keep watching my movie, I glanced over. Slowly, the pieces formed a picture that genuinely made me feel sorry for him. First, it was a printed clinic bill stating he owed about $600 for an appointment. That grabbed my curiosity. Then the guy pulled out a handwritten sheet with numbers, and I saw the same $600 added to other amounts. The total was around $5,000. There were mentions of tests and a surgery. Then more entries were added, and the total grew to $42,000. After that, my seat neighbor took out his phone and started scrolling through photos and screenshots. One showed turmeric-based medicine. He zoomed in on the price, around $50. I've heard turmeric is sometimes used in cancer treatment, and that's when I began to fear the worst. Then he scrolled to ChatGPT screenshots. At this point, I could barely hide my interest because I was fully invested. There were chats about cancer relapse, questions like, is it normal for the disease to return after 8 years of remission? The last screenshot was a doctor's report, his medical ID, notes, and a diagnosis, cancer. After that, he opened a listing for an apartment rental in the UK, and I thought maybe he wants to move there for free healthcare. I don't know, it all felt unreal. Watching the details build into one dark story where the main character is sitting right next to you. I saw him again at the baggage carousel and wanted to say something like, I hope everything works out for you. But I was afraid he'd think I was a creep, so I just walked away. I hope things get better for him. I realized I hate my boyfriend. We've been together almost 3 years. We live together and I fully support us. In all this time, he has maybe worked 2 months at most. He has depression, anxiety. He literally sucks the air and joy out of every room he's in. He never wants to go anywhere and then complains that we never go anywhere. Recently, I arranged a job interview for him at my workplace, a decent entry position with a good salary. He refused to go, saying he wasn't ready. And then he whines that he has no job. You get the picture. Our entire life revolves around him and his moods. He cries, shouts, sighs endlessly. There is no laughter or joy in our home. I walk on eggshells constantly. I'm scared to come home from work. A few days ago, he grabbed me and shook me so hard it left bruises on my arms. The apartment is in my name, but he literally has nowhere to go. No friends. He refuses to talk to his family. So if we break up, he'll end up on the street, and I can't allow that. Not to him, not to anyone. But I constantly fantasize about living alone, cooking only for myself, shopping only for myself, doing everything only for myself. It would be unbelievable, just finally breathing again. Last week was his birthday, and I saved for a month to buy him a gift related to his hobby. When I gave it to him, he said, "I told you I don't do that anymore. What were you even thinking?" I think that was the moment the last bit of love died in me. He doesn't cook, doesn't clean, doesn't take care of his dog, does nothing but play video games. It feels like prison, and I don't even care what happens to me anymore. I don't want to die, but I won't be upset if I don't wake up tomorrow. I know what I need to do, but I feel like a stupid coward. My ex and I had the exact same relationship, also 3 years. Identical story, but the apartment was in his name because his credit was better, so leaving was easier. My heart goes out to you. I know that hopeless feeling. Start planning small steps toward an exit. Find any light at the end of the tunnel. Do you rent your apartment? When does the lease end? I once sat my ex down and told him I was at my limit. I set conditions. He needed stable work by a certain deadline. For you, it could make sense to tie that to the lease renewal and say, "If nothing changes, I'm leaving." Your boyfriend drains you. And when you let go, a massive weight will fall off your shoulders. You're not his mother. You're not responsible for him. Don't pity him. He doesn't pity you. He doesn't respect you or contribute anything. He doesn't care. It's time to leave. Good luck. When I was 16, I robbed several ATMs and somehow never got caught. I'm over 50 now, so I'm probably safe from prosecution, but I still don't understand how I got away with it. In the early 80s, ATMs had a feature called check deposit with cash back. Basically, you could cash a check instantly. The system worked on pure trust. Later, they removed it. Anyway, I figured out that if you inserted an empty, unsealed envelope, you could claim the bank lost the check. The ATM would deposit the money, and a week later, the bank would say, "Hey, the envelope was empty," and somehow it still allowed me to repeat it. That summer, my family spent 2 weeks in a rental in Hyannis. During that time, I opened savings accounts at 5 different banks using that rental address. The debit cards arrived a few days later. I used the deposit with cashback trick Thursday through Monday morning. The limit was $400, and machines were audited on Monday, so by then the scam had to end. I made $10,000 in 1984 money. No one came knocking, no arrest, no questioning. The only consequence, the FDIC flagged me as someone banks shouldn't do business with. I found out at 21 when no bank would open an account for me. Now, 40 years later, I have a bank account and nothing ever happened. Probably the luckiest moment of my life. Of course, I wasted every cent. Back then, it could have been a down payment on a house or a car. Instead, I spent it all on girls, weed and beer. It was fun, but I wish I'd been smarter. Last night, I humiliated myself in front of my parents, and their reaction broke me. Months ago, they kicked me out. Yesterday after work, I begged to sleep in my room just for a couple nights. I said I'd only come to sleep and leave before they wake up. They still said no. I don't even know why I tried. They made it clear they want nothing to do with me. They disowned me after finding out my sexuality. They said they didn't want me influencing my little brother. They were cold and emotionless while I cried and begged. It was humiliating being rejected by your own parents, but it was my fault. I should have known. On the way there, I imagined sleeping in my bed again without worrying about safety or the cold, maybe even them apologizing and letting me back in. But deep down, I knew that wasn't happening. I'm alone, and the sooner I accept it, the better. Edit, I'm not a minor. I'm 19. When I worked at Best Buy, I shipped products straight to my house, literally stole them. I worked inventory. If a customer ordered online and our store had stock, we fulfilled it. Every day I picked items, boxed them, labeled them, and put them in a UPS pickup pile. I quickly realized Best Buy didn't verify UPS pickups, and UPS didn't care what was in the pile. So I started packing MacBooks, cameras, smartwatches, whatever I wanted, without removing any lines or details. I used to put my own personal UPS label on the box and drop it in the pile. Of course, the courier would simply scan it into the UPS system, and Best Buy had no idea what exactly was leaving the building. The loss prevention team was going crazy and couldn't figure out where the products were disappearing to. All the items I stole would show up at my house the next day. My house was only half a mile from Best Buy. This went on for about 4 years. I never got caught. During my final months working there, I even hinted to a manager that this loophole existed. Sorry, let me clarify something. I didn't wait for an item to be ordered so I could swap the label. That would be stupid. None of the products I stole were ever ordered, which meant they never appeared in Best Buy's order system. The only record tied to them was store inventory, which could take weeks to update until the next stock audit. I would literally pull the item off the warehouse shelf, throw it into a box, print and stick my own label on it, and drop it into the UPS pickup pile. UPS didn't care. As long as it had a UPS label, that was enough. Best Buy only paid attention to labels printed from their system, so tracking could update. My homemade label got scanned and loaded onto the truck because it was just a scheduled UPS pickup. UPS didn't care what exactly they were scanning. This was over 10 years ago, and the cameras back then were terrible. There weren't even cameras in the packing area where orders were shipped from. All they could see was me and my co-workers packing hundreds if not thousands of boxes every day. I barely do anything at my current job. Almost every day, I leave early, and my boss thinks I'm an outstanding employee. I work as an engineer in the construction field. If you know anything about this industry, then you know everyone is constantly stressed, working 9 to 12 hours a day, sometimes weekends, dealing with site workers, handling mountains of information, submitting construction documents, planning, budgeting, and more. I do none of that. I just handle reports and paperwork and almost never step onto the field. On a normal day, I go into the office, skim a couple of reports, maybe send a message or two, pretend to look busy, then leave early like I work part-time. In reality, my daily workload takes an hour at most, sometimes less depending on how busy it is. I assume no one notices because everyone is buried in their own issues. Plus, we're spread out across different trailers. My boss, who works at a different location, has never noticed, or no one has told him. And every time we do interact about work, he praises me for being hardworking, productive, and an essential part of the team. Before you judge me, I hate this job because it makes me feel completely useless. I'm actively looking for a new one. My girlfriend gets completely naked every time we start arguing. It infuriates me because I'm weak. I mean it. I have zero defense against that tactic. And I don't even mean sexually. The second she feels me getting frustrated about something, she pulls her top off. Every single time. And it is the most irritating thing on earth because you cannot continue an angry speech when that is in front of you. She says she got it from How I Met Your Mother and that it works. It enrages me because I have real concerns, real complaints, real things I want to discuss, but I physically cannot articulate a single coherent thought. And for context, I already have autism and ADHD, so forming my thoughts is hard enough without adding this into the equation. It's just unfair. And I can't even explain how angry it makes me, because the moment I bring it up, she does it again, and the cycle repeats. I've never felt so conflicted in my life. Every time I try to calmly talk about something that needs to change, she strips and says, "Do you want to be angry, or do you want me?" I wish I was stronger. But I'm not. And it's killing me. I'm not asking for advice, I'm just exhausted and can't tell anyone else. I broke up with my boyfriend because he yelled at me. I'm 29. We dated for about 8 months. The relationship seemed fine, we spent time together, had fun, no major red flags, but I always felt like he didn't value me. Sometimes he was cold and acted irritated without any real reason. The final moment happened 3 days ago. We were sitting at my place. He asked me to hand him the TV remote. I was right next to him on the couch working on my laptop. Without looking, I reached out and accidentally handed him my phone. When I realized what I had done, I laughed and passed him the actual remote. He looked at me with irritation and suddenly started yelling, calling me a stupid bitch. I froze. I have never raised my voice at him or disrespected him in any way. I didn't deserve that. I told him we were done and asked him to leave. He told me to calm down and stop being dramatic. So I walked to the front door, opened it wide and said, "Get out and never come back." He left saying I was overreacting. The next day I returned every gift he ever gave me. They meant nothing anymore. My friends say I overreacted, that you can't end a relationship just because someone yelled once, and they keep trying to push reconciliation. His friends started messaging me too. I blocked all of them, his friends, not mine. I'm not reaching out or fixing anything. I know I don't deserve to be treated like that. I gave him respect, and I expect the same in return. In high school, I used to pay the guy who bullied me to leave me alone. Then I found out he genuinely needed the money. He made my life hell, turned classmates against me, mocked me for my eyebrows, constantly tormented me. One day, he begged me to buy him pizza and promised to leave me alone for a week if I did. I bought him a whole pizza, and he kept his word. After that, it became a routine. Every Friday, I asked what he wanted in exchange for not tormenting me the next week. A couple bags of spicy chips, sometimes milk from the cafeteria, once even a pack of colored pencils for art class. We had school uniforms. Shirts cost about $25, pants about $15. On the first day of 8th grade, he showed up in regular clothes. They sent him to the principal's office to wait for his parents. My aunt happened to be there dropping off my lunch money. She saw he was upset and asked what happened. He quietly started crying. His parents couldn't afford uniforms and were avoiding the situation. My aunt bought him a uniform hoodie, several shirts and one long sleeve. He said he already had pants at home. At first he refused, but eventually accepted and thanked her. Now, 13 years later, he runs a non-profit that helps kids get access to books. I think that's amazing. I forgave him for being a bully. Unlike many others, he grew up to be a good person. When scammers call me, I tell them it's my work phone and give them my personal number instead. The number belongs to an old friend who destroyed my life. As the title says, scammers call me constantly. I politely apologize, say it's my work line and that I'm interested in talking. Just on my personal device instead. The number I give belongs to someone who utterly screwed me over after 16 years of friendship. So yeah, enjoy the endless spam calls, asshole. Since people asked, here's the full story in order. We were friends for 16 years. For the last 5 of those years, we dreamed of starting a business together. He moved 5 hours away. One day he called saying he found our big opportunity. I packed everything, convinced my girlfriend, now wife, to come with me, and moved to a place where I knew nobody. Because it was my dream. We signed a lease to live together. I moved all our stuff in. The very next day, he tells me he launched a different business without me and won't be working with me after all. It hurt, but he was my best friend, so I tried to move past it. Over the next 2 years, he found a new group of friends, got into drugs, and started making comments about me being a failure. I never reacted. Then came the night I proposed to my girlfriend. I had a small celebration planned with close friends. She said yes, happiest moment of my life. He then invites his new friends without asking. They show up, do drugs in my bathroom, eat all the food and leave within 20 minutes to go to a bar, leaving a disaster behind. I acted like everything was fine. I even let him think he was going to be my best man. When the wedding invites went out, his never arrived. Weird, right? I told him it must have been lost in the mail. Over time, I spoke to him less and less, then ghosted him completely. No explanation, no closure. And I did it intentionally. I want him to spend the rest of his life wondering why. He doesn't deserve clarity. And yes, there were many other incidents where he'd apologize by saying, "Yeah, I messed up, but you also did X, so we're even." No accountability. So this is my harmless little revenge. Screw him. Thanks for watching. Drop your own confessions in the comments and don't forget to check out our other videos. See you tomorrow. Hugs. Bye.